Greetings, my fellow Kerbals. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Kerbal Space Program 2, Episode 11, Reaction Control Systems. So, the next mission is build an agile manned station docking ship, and launch. So it's going to be a really overly simple manned docking launcher. I'm going to do it. Let's see. The command will be an Explorer, because I think the docking couplers that I had on it were medium-sized. No, maybe they were smalls. Yeah, they were smalls, weren't they? They were smalls and XLs. That's a stacked decoupler. Good try me. I collapsed the docking ports. Were they smalls? Or mediums? How about we just open up the blueprints and find out? So that would be the Shona. Load. So you are a Lampatron. Okay, well, let's just eyeball it. Come on, game. Yeah, that's a small. Okay. So if that's a small, we only need a small Clampatron at the top, which means I can do a tin can. Oh no, tin cans are the wrong size. So we'll do a Explorer again. We'll give it two radial mounted parachutes for re-entry. And then for RCS, I'll do 4 on either side like this. Add a tiny bit of RCS fuel. It really doesn't need that much. So small, no, that's a probe core. Fuel, monopropellant, little small boy, and we'll put this at the top. Why are you gluing? Weird. We'll put this at the top so that the docking is a little bit easier. At the bottom, do a heat shield, even though heat shield is really not needed for re-entry. I'll do a medium, because it fits better. So that's our little re-entry vehicle. Then underneath this, a medium decoupler. And then with some rockets to get us pretty close. Oh, medium size, but not that long. Some sort of fuel-efficient engine, because this one will be Circularization and Rendezvous. So, high efficiency, smaller than a Labradoodle. There isn't a good one. Just a swivels too small skipper? Or poodle? Poodle. A little poodle engine's fine. Okay, and then probably just some solid boosters with fins to break atmo and get us circularized. That's maybe a bit too big. Give me the kickbacks. What's the Delta V? Delta V is pretty good. It's very, very small. My only worry is... Well, okay, there's one little change that I want to do. So, The heat shield section, I'm going to change up a bit. I'm going to give it a smaller heat shield. I really want to keep it over simple so that it's really easy for me to dock. So small heat shield, and then a small decoupler. And then a really small fuel tank with a deorbiter. So this is just a simple deorbiter. So this will be like a Terrier engine. And then another decoupler. Like that. So the Terrier engine will be the deorbiting phase, and I can kick this phase off. So what will be RCSing to dock will only be this thing, with a little bit of fuel left over to deorbit. And that way, it's way more controllable. And that way, I can actually look better by docking, because before it was pretty miserable. Brutal for me to control. It could stay. I'm just not intending for it to stay. Alright, that's askew. Is that still askew? Yeah. Anchor point. There? Yep, okay, got it. Give it a little aerodynamics. It's a pretty weird looking little thing. Some fins. Some stabilizing fins. And then a few struts. So strut from here out. The Delta V I think is wrong. I'll look at the staging in a second, because that Delta V doesn't make sense to me, given the power that I have here. Come on, let me delete the strut. No! Ah, Jesus. One of the struts like this. Here we go. Delta V, what's going on here? Yep, it's out of order. So, after that fires up, this does, and then that separates. Nope, that goes up. Where's the last stack separator? This one. So that one is top. Okay, so this looks about right, I think. Yep. And the name of this, I'm going to do a quick raffle. So, 1 minute, I'm going to raffle this off because I forgot to name it. So if you want this named after you, just type. And let me just double check. So we have the fuel the solid fuel, and the thrust weight of this is about 2, so it will accelerate. This has the solid boost. It's not telling me what the Delta V is, because reasons. Can I encourage it to actually tell me? I wish I knew. But it's reading as a big ol' flopping 0. Then that stack separates, the Poodle engine fires up, then the Poodle separates, and then it's the Terrier engine separates, and then it's the parachute. So that looks right. This is going to be the D-Clowns. Okay. The D-Clowns vessel. Docking pod. D-Clowns docking pod. Awesome. Save. And I hope I made it right. Shut up, Paige. Alright, we'll wait for the space station to be in the right position in the sky. About there. And hopefully I can intercept it and maneuver it, like, well this time, because last time was awful. And we're off. Actually, I lied. I'm going to revert to launch, and I'm going to let the space station orbit a little bit more, so I'm playing catch-up. It was kind of in the wrong spot. Name it Sparky? Thing's way too stable to be named after you? Alright, I'll name it Sparky. It might be stable, but it has to dock to be useful. Can I rename it on the fly? Nope. Apparently I can't. Well, it's D-Clowns now. Wow! Okay, I accelerated time a little bit too much, but at least... Okay, and too much again. At least we'll have some sunlight this time around. Alright, I'm really bad at slowing down time. Actually, you know what? It's not me. The controls are a lot less responsive, as I was saying before, so I'm just going to wait till daytime again. I'm patient, and Bill apparently doesn't need to be fed. So we'll go for next pass for a early AM launch. All right, about there. It's funny I launched from the map menu. Kind of anticlimactic, but all right, go in red, and let's hope we get there. The delta V of these kickbacks are fine, I think. I'll probably gravity turn a little early to compensate for their lack of boost. It's too bad there's no internal view anymore. I forget whether or not they plan to add that, but you can't see inside the vessels like you used to be able to. Because I wonder what Bill's view would be, but there's only the EVA. East is to my right. Okay. Ooh, it really is stable. It's nice. Except for this is the most tilt I can give it. These control fins are... The flaps are pretty small. And it's a lot of thrust. The space station's somewhere up there, a twinkle in the sky. I'm coming for it. The kickbacks were almost perfect. The apo-apse is right about what I would want it to be, so I'm not going to have to do too much correction. I wish I could circularize a little bit better right now, but I don't have control over these kickbacks. The amount, I don't think they gimbal, whereas the other ones gimbal. I think I just shoved the thing. Alright, could we... tumbling. So now, set this as a target. And aim prograde. And burn upwards. Try to... Actually, it would be really cool if I got it on one pass and didn't have to circularize. That would be amazing. Really difficult to do. Those kind of dock maneuvers are like absurdly hard, but I'm down to try. Also, the autopilot aiming towards prograde is like kind of not working, but that's probably as a result of me not having inline reactions on this vessel and relying on RCS. So it's ultimately my fault that we're like flopping around the sky here. In fact, we're flopping so hard we're like pointed backwards. So let me use RCS to try to point prograde. Okay, accelerating time. All right, I think this will work. I know it passed me, but my maneuver plan is just to be in low orbit, and we'll catch up. It also looks like I'm going to be inclined a little bit. Alright, so that is not a perfect circularization just yet. Let's get rid of the inclination. It's a little better. And that is roughly the maneuver. So we'll start pointing at maneuver node. And it's about a 1 minute burn for about half our fuel. But this is the biggest burn by far. Is it stable enough without RCS? Maybe? I'll have to keep an eye on it. So what I'm going to do is just have as low of a periapse as possible while still remaining in orbit. That way I can catch up to the space station, because I launched at a kind of a bad time. I should have had more space to catch up to space. What's... Keep on pushing. There's the Space Center down there. Gotta say, the periapse is still, like, way negative. There's so many, like, weird colored lines, it's really hard to tell if I'm going to be able to burn in time, given my thrust to weight. It looks good, but I'm having a hard time just interpreting the data. Right? I think we're going correct. Bit of a head scratcher. Skill issue. Thanks. Game's 24 hours old. I'm getting called out for lack of skill. So I think the periapse, once we... I mean, it's not that close to circularization, to be honest. I'm a little worried that it was the Poodle engine, although efficient, was underpowered for the job. And I should have used the thumpers, not the kickbacks, to get me up into atmo better. And the regret is setting in, you know? It says stop burn in a minute, so we'll see in a minute where I'm at. But also, depending on me switching to map view or not, like, the burn time changes. So that's why I think the maneuver timers are, like, weird. In fact, I'm gonna kill this one. And make a new one and point maneuver. Because I think maneuver nodes are outdated. We could be circularizing better by pointing to horizon. Yep, I think I was right. Periaps change is occurring much more rapidly now. We'll call that a planned course correct. We're in a different axis from our target, so that will have to be fixed, but I'm not going to fix that in this pass. This is just a circularization phase. I kind of wish the collision alert would be a little smaller. It, like, kind of blocks the UI a bit. Just a red dot would be enough for me. And not like a red dot, splash down, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Seems a little excessive. I'm going to kill the engines, actually, and then redo the circularization for fuel efficiency. Point maneuver, and accelerate time. The new UI has a lot of stuff that is really nice to have, like heading or atmo. It has a lot of data, but some of the data is displayed in kind of a clunky way, and then sometimes the data just breaks. Like I've had my staging UI just kind of like blow up. So I really do like a lot of the new information because I find it really helpful. And I like the position of the new nav ball and stuff like that. But there's a lot of parts of it that are just like bad. All right, so we have indeed circularized. So then the next thing I need to do is to correct the axis tilt. Because we had a bad launch. So that is that maneuver. So I'll point to the maneuver node and launch, and that's only 151 delta V. This is not so bad. Come on. Good enough. Also, while I'm at the periaps, I might want to lower the apoaps so that I can intercept better. But I'm flying past the periaps now. Oh, no. I'm looking at... I wish the periaps colors were different for your craft versus your target's craft. Because your target's craft is in white. So the periaps of the target's craft should be in white too. But it's in blue. So you have two periaps. But one is yours and one is your target's. And that's really confusing. Because it's hard to tell which one you're looking at. For me at least. I think the color coding needs to be the same. So your post-maneuver periaps should be in yellow. Because that, or red, depending on whether it's in burn or not. You know, there's a lot of like color coding that I would probably fix because it's really confusing in the way it is now. Especially the target's periaps really shouldn't be in blue. I mean, that makes no sense at all. Because then if I want to course correct at the periaps, I have no idea which periaps is mine without further study. Kaijin, thank you for the sub. All right, so now our inclination's only like 0.2. That's much better. Let's see if we can't just create a maneuver straight there. Oh yeah, sorta. And if not, lower our apoaps so that we have a better intercept. All right, that looks like a pretty close pass, just eyeballing, and only cost me 200. So I'm going to quick save, point to the maneuver, and we will try to do a rendezvous. I like didn't even add light bulbs to this thing. This was so pared down. There we go. That is the duration of the burn. Intercept is not perfect, so I'm going to do a micro adjustment here. See if I can get it a little bit closer. Oh. Is that? Yeah. That looks much better. Okay, so let's position to the next maneuver node, which is coming up in like seconds. Do a tiny little course correction. And I think we basically, yeah, we'll be 2 kilometers away from one another. The relative speed is rather great, so I'm going to have to turn and burn to slow down. But at least we'll be really close to one another at that intersect. I mean, 2 kilometers out is spitting distance, space-wise. Okay, cut engines. 6 kilometers is what it says it's now. So let me see if I can't fix that. I wish it would show me that overlay, like, while I'm course correcting. You know? Because I can only see it, like, once I'm done finishing the maneuver node. Which is not useful. That looks better, though. Alright, let's do one more course correct, and then I'll just let it pan out and try to do the chase intercept. Because I'm going to need fuel to slow down. Also, my periaps is below horizon. I'm going to save and actually just time accelerate and see if I don't aerobrake too badly. And then I'll correct it once I'm out of atmosphere again. I wasn't careful enough, and this has me aerobraking a bit. So I'll course correct after I'm finished aerobraking once I'm back into space. We're just taking a good little dip into the thin atmo. You know, like you do. So in about a minute, we'll be back at atmo. Doesn't look like we're in atmosphere, but technically we are. Just to the upper 3 kilometers of atmosphere, which is not going to create a lot significant drag or anything like that. All right, I think we're heading back up now. Yeah, the altimeter's going back up. So by this point here, we'll probably be back out into space, I guess. Okay, so this is my next maneuver. It looks like a pretty good rendezvous. So I'll point to the next maneuver node, and I'll be ready to fire up once we're there. Although this next maneuver kind of has me launching into the ground. Back dipping into space. But we're almost out of... Yeah, okay, I'm back in space now. It's a moot point. Okay, here we go. Last tiny little course correct. And our intercept is 1.5 kilometers. No problem. So accelerate time up into... Oh, you know what? Let me autosave first. Knowing that things go wrong. Alright, let's warp to here. And trust the auto warp for once. And now, instead of an orbit, I'm going to do target. And I'm going to want to cut the speed differential between me and the target. So... let's turn and burn, like I said. And with a small craft like this, it's just a lot easier to control. So much easier. Alright, now the speed difference between us is only 7 meters. And now I can start actually pointing towards it. So let's... it's what, 4 meters, or 4 kilometers away? Are we heading towards it or away from it now? Alright, let's point towards it and start accelerating towards it. And then once I get closer, I'll slam the brakes again. Alright, give me RCS. This is taking forever to flop. Now this stage is almost out of fuel. But it has enough delta V left in it to do these maneuvers. Oh god, the eyeballs. Alright, so now we're pointing pretty much straight at it, and I'm going to point anti-target so that I can hit the brakes once we get there. So you should see, yeah, the distance between us and the target is decreasing. And I might need to do a little bit of course correction. Forget SAS control, give me RCS. I'll do it myself. A little course correction so we actually get there and not whiz past it. Let's do another course correction. So 1.8 kilometers. And this should bring us within meters, I think. Little autosave just in case. Alright, this course correction looked really good. Yeah, that's going to have us kissing in a second. Ah, there it is, in all of its glory. And this intercept went a lot smoother because this craft here is a lot more controllable. Even with the wonky big section that I have right now that I could ditch, but I haven't yet. Because if I can keep the fuel, might as well keep it, right? So 3 meters per second difference. And pretty soon I'm going to want to decelerate. So that we don't collide. And then I'll need to specifically target one of the docking ports and control from the front of the craft. So let's get our difference of speed down to less than 1 meter per second. So that if we do bump, it's a love tap. All right, 0.5. That's pretty good. Control from the front. And then let's target one of the docking ports. I don't think I'm actually close enough to select a docking port, so I'll accelerate time till we're a little bit closer. There we go. Oh, great. I'm in the shadow of the Kerbin for this docking. Docking in the dark. That sounds dirty. Lack of stellar exposure. Yeah, you don't say. All right, so we'll target this port here. Set as target. Stop time accelerating. And then try to rotate up to it. So that we're aligned with it. RCS is kind of fighting me here. What is up? I don't even know what up is. Here we go. It's not as elegant as I would want, but it might work. Oh, whoops. I am facing the wrong way. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to actually get rid of the fuel. Oh, geez, that jettison speed just launched a missile at the station. But here we go. This is going to be a lot easier. All right, so let's go to docking mode and figure out what forward is again. Because it seems to change every time I change the angle of the ship. So control from the front. Go to normal mode. Aim towards the space station. And then... what is the... RCS? What is the... okay, H is forward. Good. I'm getting the hang of it. So now we're punching forward towards the station with the RCS thrusters. This craft is a lot more maneuverable than the last one. That is the most annoying alert imaginable. Slow down. Stupid giant jumbo alert symbols. Hello, docking port. I seem to be passing you. And tumbling randomly. Let's try this again. Aim towards... we'll aim for this one that I can't right-click select for some reason. A lot of the struggle that I seem to be having is just like a genuine lack of control due to just general glitchiness, to be honest. Like, okay, go away, parts manager. You're freaking huge and annoying. In Kerbal Space Program 1, like, you could right-click ships from like 2 kilometers away, and I'm 50 meters away, and I can't click the docking port I want to dock with. Like, the game is just like, oh, sorry, that's not a selectable part. Which has me driving blind. And then some of the HUD buttons and things, like trying to close the parts manager, just isn't responsive. And as a result, same with staging and same with the maneuver timings and stuff like that. So you end up fighting it and losing because you lose precious time. You lose precious time to fumbling around with the sloppy controls or whatever. Like, even RCS feels like I'm time accelerating, tumbling. Yeah, there's something wrong with I'm going to straight up say there's something wrong with the RCS. I think it's because maybe I put it on a 45-degree angle that this thing is just like handling like steering a turd towards a toilet. I'm going to hope that that's it, and it's just like a design flaw that didn't exist in 1. But steering this thing is like honestly just impossible. Like, it's just tumbling like bird poo. Are the frames dropping? Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of like frames dropping and the RCS like controls going off in sort of arbitrary directions despite the keyboard inputs not being wrong. Like, I'm trying to turn right now and I'm going left. I'm hitting the D key and spinning like I'm cartwheeling, right? You know? It makes controlling this thing basically impossible because the inputs don't make sense. I mean, the only inputs that make sense are like forward and backward, which is H and N, and those work properly. So I think I might have just, because of the 45-degree angle offset of this thing, I like pissed off the RCS to the point where it's unusable. And like, okay, that's my fault, but that shouldn't be so critically an issue that like the ship is inoperable. You know what I mean? Because like right now, I feel like I'm trying to steer a jellyfish or something. You know, it's just so unintuitively counter-directional. What I will try to do, which is crazy, is revert to the VAB and see, just to do the proper science, see if the 45-degree offsets are the problem. Because those RCS are just like launching in totally arbitrary directions, making it absolutely impossible for me to control the direction I'm going. I'm totally in a free fall tumble. Like I'm Matt Damon punching a hole in my air suit to propel myself. I mean, that's how it feels. I hit any one direction and I kind of tumble in an arbitrary reverse direction. It's so weird. So without the 45-degree offset, it would look something like this, which covers the door. And then I have to move the parachutes. I'll do 3 parachutes for weight reasons. So covering the door is not great. And then also, like, this one embeds into the light fixture, or the windows, but whatever. I don't care. And then you also wanted this name Sparky, which seems fitting. Maybe it should be floaty. So this is the D-Clown's Sparky. Perhaps I get a better launch this time, though. Oh, I should do, I should change the thrusters and the control surfaces, too. So let's go to the VAB. And like Stateless says, put the RCS on the center of mass. I will do that as well. But then I have to strip some parts off to figure out what the center of mass is for that stage. Because it doesn't tell you the situational center of mass. But I'll do that science. So that I tumble a lot less. So what that would look like is, or RCS on either end and call it a day. That doesn't even work necessarily. So what that would look like is this. Where's the decoupler? Here? No. It's this. Okay. So the center of mass is there. Thanks for the giant bubble that I can't see past. So then putting it like that, right around the center of mass. And that should give me the most bang for my buck control, hypothetically. And then I wanted to switch out these engines for more thrust, which okay, there we go. Got them recycled. Finally. And maybe I'll switch the poodle out too, so that I can circularize more efficiently, so it doesn't take forever. Because the last one was just, like, dreadful. So this poodle was... I'll go for a skipper. That should be plenty. Get the Clydesdales, which is so absolutely overkill. And I can't center it for my life. Is that actually even on the decoupler, though? I'm going to change the decouplers because it's hard to tell if I'm on the decoupler or I'm actually on the fuel tank. Because if I'm on the fuel tank, it won't decouple. It will just... The decoupler will fire into the Clydesdale and, like, explode in a big fire, which would be hilarious, but you know, undesired. All right. This will have so much more thrust to get me up into space. So let's strut it up. Strut's clipping into airbags. Don't really care. Strut it up in the bottom and then give it some nice winglets. So I think it's the stabilizers that I've been using. But I also think that the Clydesdale's gimbal, whereas the kickbacks didn't, if I checked. But I'm not even going to check. I'm just going to save it and launch. I'll try to time the actual launch better to actually connect with the space station this time. It's just me, or is the space station stationary? What the hell? There's no such thing as stationary if it's not in a Lagrange point. Alright, I'm going to save and load, because there's something super wrong. I'm going to go back up to the main menu. That was hilarious. Magical geosync. Yeah. Geosync at not geosync height. I don't know what the geosync height is, though. Let me check. What is Kerbal geosync? It's like 45K or something. No, maybe it's even more. Kerbal synchronous is 1,863,000 up. Or 2 million, rather. So yeah, I was nowhere near Kerbal-synchronous equatorial orbit at all. So it didn't make any sense whatsoever. And if it was truly synced, the launch point and the station would be stationary to one another. That was just a frozen station. Frozen in time, like, through magic, whereas Kerbal was rotating around it. Makes no sense whatsoever. Alright, let's see if saving and loading has helped. Okay, yeah, okay. Much, much, much better. See how it's supposed to be orbiting? And it wasn't orbiting before. Only Kerbal was spinning, and it was not. That would be incorrect. Like, badly incorrect. So I'm going to go with launch maybe here. And see if this is a good launch window. I'm just eyeballing. Also, my staging is wrong, but I saw it and corrected. Thank you for tuning in to Kerbal Space Program 2, which originally streamed live on Twitch, February 25th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream of mine. Farewell, my fellow Kerbonauts.